We're going live a little bit early, so we'll call this a pre-show, but we'll come out with the show at about right at the top of the hour. All right, go ahead, Scott.
Okay, so the Prairie Dog Golf Challenge. Tell me what you guys think about this, because so 2-person teams, we all go together. You get 3 clubs between 2 people, as many beers as you want. Okay. You only get 10 golf balls to finish 9 holes on a prairie dog town. For every, and it's on par, like everything, it's probably going to be a par 3 for every one of them. Crystal X barrel or a tub, you don't need to get it in. You just hit the barrel, you're done, right? But if you lose your ball, you got to bring up another one. If you're out of your 10 balls, okay, for every beer you drink, 1 stroke off your game.
Oh, God.
For every prairie dog tail that you bring, 1 stroke off your game. Golf balls, shots, beers, guns, prairie dogs. How can it go wrong?
Can't go wrong, can you?
And I'm doing this like a $10 entry fee per person, so $20 per team.
Okay.
Winner takes all.
I like it.
You think I could get 5 teams?
Oh, I think so. I'm pretty sure that. I don't know. Is Jamie golf? I'll have to ask him. I have to invite Jamie.
Well, but here's the best part. If you don't golf, you got to shoot or drink.
That's right. That's perfect, right?
That's it, right? I think it is.
I like it. I do. Just a second. Checking out everything. See, you are right about this, so Scott. So I'm just checking out all of our places now to make sure it's working correctly.
Your mic is really low on my end there, Clay. So
yeah, well, how's that?
That's better.
You about got to be right here in front of it. Okay, why is that not working?
I'm glad I'm not the host of this show.
Well, see, we're early, so everyone that's tuning in, I appreciate it. I see that the numbers are ticking up there, but this is kind of a pre-show, and we're just kind of BS.
Okay, you want to do a pre-show? I'm going to do a pre-show.
Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Medora Boot and Western Wear. One of the few places in the off season, by the way, that will. Can I show knives on your thing, or are you going to get banned?
Why? Why? I mean,
okay.
I would think you could.
So, like 5 years ago, I bought this knife, and I've used it for a lot of things, including castrating, and I've not yet to sharpen it, and it is still sharp as the dickens. So I'll give those guys a little bit of a bonus plug there.
Shout out.
And you're going to pay for them, but it is a heck of a belt knife. So
yeah,
cool.
We'll get one, right?
I like it.
All right, now we're live on our Rumble. So that's what I was trying to get to. So, all right. That's the only downfall about Rumble, and it does not feed into our comments. Don't feed into our actual account. They're new. I guess only liberals can create the good stuff. All the conservatives, they just don't seem like they can do it.
What is good morning, good evening, fellow MVEs? What's MVE?
Militant violent extremists, as labeled by Homeland Security, each and every one of us. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Was it Waylon? I don't remember who were Wayne. I don't remember. One of them guys, they always, when he gets on, I'm sure he'll say something like, he always does that. I know he tunes into you on Saturdays too, so that's where that comes from. Homeland Security said if you're pro-Trump or you like the Constitution or you're posting Second Amendment things, you're a militant violent extremist. Aren't you glad you're that way? You're a gun owner.
I'm glad I'm that way.
I mean, I probably got a satellite that's attached to me, but
so I brought this up to some. I'm going to try to be politically correct here.
You don't have to be politically correct here.
I don't?
No.
Okay. So I brought this up to some fucking liberals, and they were arguing. They were arguing with me the other day down in Deadwood, and they're like, "Well, you're for guns." I'm like, "Yes," and you're for this, and you're okay with boxing and MMA and all this kind. I'm like, absolutely this, and they're like, and they said, "Well, what are you scared of?" I said, "Absolutely nothing." And they said, "Well, but And they kept arguing, and they kept going on with this. And I said, but hold on now a second. I said, everything that you guys stand for, you protest, you try to argue with everybody against. I said, the United States and every country in the world has been developed because of war and turmoil and arguments.
Yeah.
And they didn't like that. I said, you're just continuing it on in a different form and fashion. I said, the only problem is you can't back it up.
Yeah, they don't have no guns. Oh, but
well, no. So Clay, it's not just about guns. It's about being able to fight hand to hand. It's about they still want to fight. They want to fight, but they look at us with guns and the military, and they're like, "Oh, baby killers," and that's what really provoked me with this whole thing. That really pissed me off when they said that, and I'm like, "Hold on, now the whole world has been built on fighting,
on war and yeah,
it still has, and they're continuing it the way that they're doing it, just in a different form."
Well,
and
they
did not.
They want to do it with words, and they want to do it by having people with guns in the government throwing us in jail. That's how they want to fight.
But I want to do it with words too, and I did it that night very well.
You can take the guns away, and if you want to kill somebody, you're going to find a way to kill them.
Absolutely,
that's
hands
being
down.
Proven right now. Get this, I've actually been talking on the show a little bit about this off and on. Australia, England, Scotland, Maine, Ireland, every single one of them countries. Guess what's happening? Knife murders. Murder by knife, homicides by knife are going up.
Swords, that one went ape shit with a sword in one of them countries here a year or two ago.
So now they want to have controls on blades, length, crazy controls and background checks. Like, really? Yeah, because that solved everything, didn't it? Evil.
You know what it's going to come down to? Here's the thing. It's going to come down to, okay, so the martial arts schools are going to be banned from the United States because, that's teaching hand-to-hand combat.
Right.
Or they're going to be made to be sissies and do like some stupid stuff that nobody wants to do, right? And I mean, it's going to try to weaken everybody to the point where they can take over a country, because China's not training that way. Russia's not training that way. The Middle East they've been on war for 5,000 years. They don't care anymore. That's just part of their nature. Yeah. Stop making a sissy nation.
Well, look what's happening. It started, I seen this decades ago. It started in the schools. They started making men not be men. I mean, they even give it a term now, masculine toxicity. Really? Good. I got a lot of that. I'm okay with that. I teach my boys to be that way too.
Clay, I had this conversation the other day. I don't think it started in the schools.
Where do you think
I think it started as parents, because parents should not allow that into schools, and the parents are on the school board allowing it. They
did. And I tell you one other thing. I
think not all parents. No, some parents are allowing this to happen.
But even the parents you think wouldn't. I mean, I just had a battle with the school in Lemon with their health class. I did win that battle, but I'm sure the war's not over. And that had to do with a video they were showing. My son comes home with his dad. There were gays and lesbians and faggots in it. Like, what? So I get on there, and sure enough, there they were. And I even found what I'm pretty sure was a tranny in that video. The teacher didn't even realize it. They were using a curriculum that had been there since late 90s. Nobody reviewed it. All the way up, I took it all the way to the school board president. He's like, well, I guess I've never looked at it. I said, well, don't you approve the curriculum?
Should approve that. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I said, do you look at it? No. we take the recommendation of the curriculum committee. Well, gee, then maybe you guys ought to actually look at it, see what's
who's in the curriculum academy here. So,
well, it's a few of the board members and school teachers. It's designed on purpose to be layers and layers and layers so that they can blame everybody else.
The other part to that equation is your college professors are all doing the exact same damn thing.
Absolutely, they are
on a higher level,
right? And that's where all your protests and all that bullshit is coming from. Is from those professors, brainwashing those kids, and you see it in the sense that Israel, went after Palestine, and they're standing up for Palestine, and why in the hell? You need to look at history a little bit and see how fucking bad them bastards have been throughout history.
Exactly, and But you got to remember, like you said, these professors in these colleges, they're complete left whack job. I mean, I went to NDSU in 1993 and 94, and it was bad then. I can't imagine what it's like now, 30 some years later.
I went to Bozeman in 89 and 90, and that was right at the start of the change, and now I don't even fucking stop. So
yeah, I don't blame you either.
Bozeman is now known as what, California?
Pretty much.
Kalispell. Yeah, now it's Bozeman, isn't it?
It's crazy, yeah. Okay, sorry, Clay, to get all feisty on you right away, but you want to hear the stuff I heard down in Deadwood this weekend? I got good and bad stories if you want. Yeah.
Oh, we can touch on any of them. Oh,
I got some good stories.
Kelsey, good to see you joining us. Eric Newman, homeschooling all the way to give them a Christian base. And I, you know what? If it was me now having kids, I wouldn't send mine to public school. I would actually do it homeschooling right here because of that reason of things.
When I was teaching martial arts in Brookings, South Dakota, was my first openness to homeschool, because they came to me and they asked, they need a PE requirement and they need an accredited school to do it. And I was accredited through the college and everything at SDSU because, we're better than NDSU. So, and Bozeman, by the way. So anyway, that was my eye-opening to homeschool. And when they came in there and did that stuff, man, I mean, there's all different levels. If you go to public school, there's different levels of kids' mentality and social aspects. I get that. But overall, man, they were some good kids. And in living as far away as I do from a school where I live, if I had kids, that's the way I'd go.
Yeah, I would today. I mean, there, Brian, he's there. That's what I was trying to think of, Brian Warner. See, he says, "Good evening, fellow MVs." So perfect, right? That's where the term come from, was he started using it.
Here. Hey, check this out, Clay. Check this out. He got a grouse with his pistol.
Oh, nice.
The judge.
With a 410.
The judge.
See, you missed out on our South Dakota talk. I'm going to go do the intro, guys, and we'll actually start officially. So here we go. Just give me a minute. I'm on my own tonight, so I got to bring all this up myself.
Can you see that the dawn's early light was so proudly we had the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes had bright stars.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Hey, we started out a little bit early. I got a pretty good show ahead of us tonight, I do believe, and I want to thank my sister for doing that for us. She sang that down at the Black Hill Stock Show. I forget which night it was, but
it was Saturday night because I was there, Clay, and I enjoyed the heck out of that. Yeah.
Oh, she does a great job, and when I asked her about it, I said, "Do you care if I use that?" She sent me the video. Oh yeah, I can't believe it, my brother. She was like, "Hey," said, "You do a great job." So, and that was because we got dinged, kind of like you did on YouTube for music. So we just, you know what? There, I'm good to go on that. So, well, I'm going to start the show off. We're going to get right into it, but I'm going to start off like I do each and every week with the Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And boy, that's happening more and more each and every day. Lots of infringements. We've let it go on for far too long. That's how we got here. But we are chipping into that little block and setting it back. You know, we have things like Bruin, Heller, and other cases that are helping us out with that. But, so before we went live officially, we were doing a little pre-discussions, and we can continue with that unless you want to get right into what we were going to do before when we brought Kate.
I think, Clay, the first and foremost, you must introduce your people.
Well, let's get into that. So, hey, we're joined here by Scott Bachmeier, host of Dakota Prairie Outdoors and longtime friend, and Jake Wagner. Jake is joined. He does this great fundraiser over in Baker each year, and with Hanging W Meats, and he has a little a cart or
food truck
called the Chef. And I don't know. I suppose you show up at just about every single event you can, huh?
No, not so much anymore. We have a kind of a different genre. So if you see my food truck, I'm usually I'm pushing high-end steakhouse food. And so we'll set up, people call in their orders, what time they want it. And basically the menu is high-end steaks and high-end seafood.
That is pretty awesome. So now you give me a great idea. I'm also chair of our county farm bureau. We're set up for this year, but we do an annual meeting every year. Maybe you and I need to talk. We go to a little town of Carson, North Dakota. They won't know what hit them.
Oh, yep.
Here's the thing, Clay. Everybody says food truck. You know, it's food truck food. But I sold him this food truck, and I know this thing is 100% the best food truck you'll ever see in your life.
Oh, yeah, something like that.
But honest to God, Clay, when he says high-end food, he took the food truck thing to a whole new level. He really did. And when you say high-end steaks and high-end seafood, it is like you get in a restaurant out of a food truck. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Now you got me interested. I got to find you sometime when you're out, and I got to come do it. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And seafood.
Yeah, you're a little ways away from here, so. But I set up behind the meat shop usually like on Friday nights, and we just advertise it on Facebook. I'm not on the radio. I'm not in the newspapers or anything like that. And we put it out on Facebook, and I mean, we're usually hopping.
So I'm gonna have to give you my telephone number before the evening is over. I'll exchange numbers with you. You'll have to text me because I don't do much on Facist-book anymore. All I did was sales, so I stay off of there.
Right.
Well, hold on, Clay. You got to be honest with people. You're not staying off of it. They banned you from it.
Well, yeah, they took one of my main profile and just gone forever. Yeah. So me and Marty Beard, we've been axed from there for life, and so I do have another profile, but I mostly don't use it. I let Jamie do all that Facebook stuff with our Guns and 701 page. Yeah, I don't got much use for Zuckerberg's page.
Well, we don't. I'm not on Facebook, but we created that. We actually have our own page on there with the food truck too. But just because, and it's nothing but a gossip fest.
Yeah.
And I mean, you put it out there, and and I don't comment on nobody's bullshit. I don't, none of it. But we put it out there when we're cooking, and bam, that's the only advertising that I do, other than when Scott plugs me on the radio for free. So.
Well, you get some plugs here now too. So give me your Facebook page. I'd like to put that out. What is the name of your page?
Just go to just search the Chef, and it'll be a big yellow submarine. That's what that food truck is.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll see if I can bring it up here and maybe get it up there. But so
tell you what, Clay, it's great food, and what's nice about it is. It's a local guy that has his own meat shop. He knows how to do it. He knows how to prepare the meat. He knows how to do the cuts of the meat. And that's one of the big things. A lot of these folks that have these food trucks, It's just food service stuff. Here's a guy that has his own meat shop that's bringing the right stuff to your place, and it's
the other thing, I mean, like with our seafood, you're not going to find. Oh, how can I say it? You're not going to find the stuff. I mean, you really got to go to a really, really high-end steakhouse to reach this kind of seafood, because my shrimp are U4s, 2 to 4s.
What's that mean, Jake?
What that means, it's 2 to 4 shrimp per pound.
Okay.
So yeah, they're as big as my hand. And then you actually need a steak knife to eat them, and you get 3 of them to an order.
Wow.
You know, we do deep fried lobsters. That's another thing you don't see anywhere. And once you try it, it's the only way you'll eat lobster. I guarantee it.
Well, I can't eat lobster. I unfortunately have a seafood allergy, but I can eat shrimp. Go figure. That's it.
Really?
Yeah, and basically when I went and got that checked out, they said, well, it's got to be like an iodine level thing. Yeah, I can't eat crab. I can't eat lobster. Can't eat anything good. So, but.
And then my steaks. I mean, my steaks are they're top notch. I mean, my ribeyes will usually go in that 22, 24 ounce range. You know, high end. And I mean, you go to a restaurant in this day and age and you order a steak, odds are you're getting select or no roll, because it's the cheapest shit out there, and that's what they serve. And they charge you high end prices. Where I'm on the other end, I've got high end steaks and I'm charging the same price.
Well, then that's a no brainer, isn't it?
Pretty much.
It's funny watching these comments. They're like, I'm into this. I want lobster.
Yeah.
You know? I'm
not kidding a bit. Yeah. And I love seafood, and lobster is not probably one of my favorites, but it's when you deep fry a lobster, you bread them and deep fry them. Everybody that's had it, that's the only thing they order. And I mean, I scarf one down usually every time I cook. So, and a couple of shrimp and a steak, and yeah, that's why I'm so fat.
Hey, everybody says we should get in shape. Round is a shape.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, Kelsey Glazer says them is prawns, brother.
They're a little past the prawn stage. Yeah, they're big. I mean, it's just and they're stupid good too. And the thing with shrimp, so when you're buying seafood, the bigger you go in size, the cheaper it gets.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you order that in? I know there's a place out of Rapid City that they gets about as fresh as you can get it. I think they fly it in and then it comes through Sioux Falls. But where do you get yours at?
Mine comes out of Billings. It's a similar kind of a place. It's Seafood of the World. Okay. And I mean, you can, it's, if you got an account, it's easier, but I mean, Joe Blow can walk in there and buy stuff, but you're going to be paying more for it.
Yeah.
But it's basically probably the same thing you got in Rapid, I'm sure.
Yeah. I've actually ordered stuff when we still have the cabin on the lake, Scott. So once in a while we get together and do a shrimp boil or something.
Here's the thing though. You have a cabin on Shade Hill. I doubt you have lobster and shrimp in there. And if you do have shrimp, it's not anything like the size of his hand.
No, it's not coming. It's not like that. And it's definitely not coming out of the lake. So
okay.
I used to be part of a cabin in Shade Hill too. You know, don't dig on him too hard.
Oh, I'm gonna dig on him. There's no lobster in Shade Hill, I'll tell you that. And I've never seen him catch a walleye the size of your hand, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, no, I have that. Gene says, in other news, gout is spiking in eastern Montana.
Right. I have that affliction as well, so I got to be real careful what I eat.
Okay, so hold on now. I see one. It says, send me the link for this guy. And Jake, how do people get in touch with you? Because whether you want the food truck or you want to just order something, but they also have to remember you have a meat locker, and what I really recommend or I commend you about this is during elk and deer season, you close it down from beef and you just do wild game. And then you just, after the wild game season is done, you go back to beef and you help those guys out.
That's on the custom side. Yes. Custom beef and hogs. I have retail all the time.
Yeah.
But the custom beef and hogs, I shut them off for hunting season. Yes. About 2 months.
Okay.
Yep, there we go. That help them out, and
yeah, there's
I do all my own as far as my deer and stuff here, but a lot of people don't, and it's getting harder and harder to find somebody that'll do it. I notice a lot of butcher shops don't even want to do it anymore.
No, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
It used to be you made a lot of money during hunting season. Now it's just a pain in the ass.
So, Jake, let me ask you this: what do you think about CWD rules between North and South Dakota and Montana, where you're at?
It's all bullshit.
I agree.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's been around for eons, and now they're just making a stink out of it. No different than a lot of the other diseases that are out there. I mean, that's been around forever.
Yes, it is, and it's about money. Follow the money.
Right, and look at Wisconsin. What they did, they tried to exterminate their deer.
Well, so I think
Minnesota too.
I think they're trying to do that right here in 3F2 in North Dakota, because there is not the deer to support the tags that they allowed again. And they've been doing that the last 3 years, and it's just insane, which is causing a lot of issues when they do that. You get landowner issues, landowner-hunter issues, because we get flooded down here. A lot of them come apart, and there's just not, even if we didn't have a problem as far as CWD or things like that, we don't have enough deer to support the amount of hunters that come out here, and then they get pissed off when you tell them no. It's like, well,
and we're no different here. Montana did it for 30 years with their doe tags. Yep. And we get a busload of 20 people coming, and they could all get 6 or 7 doe tags, and you do that for 30 years. Yeah. And there was no cap on the tags. They sold as many as they could.
Well, they pretty much here on 3F2.
Now we don't have no deer. I mean, it's common.
And I've met a lot of nice guys that stop, and I appreciate them stopping and asking, and then I tell them no, and I just got a doe. I said, yeah, but if you got a doe and the 5 guys with you got a doe, the next guy, I can't let 20 people on here and kill does.
And then they shoot the big does, which usually have twins. They're triplets, and then you got a herd of orphans.
Yes.
So let me ask both of you guys this: what's more deadly, CWD or EHD? Because both of them, when you talk about this to any biologist, they're like, well, EHD is natural. Well, tell me what CWD is.
Right, that's natural too. Blue tongue is from a gnat bite. They get bitten by a bug.
Yeah. Is it a mite? Yeah, it's a mite, isn't it? Basically,
it's a gnat.
It's when water goes stale in the fall time, and that's what we have right now in Jake's in my area right now. Mm-hmm. We are dry clay.
Right.
It does not look good, and we've been struggling for the last 4 years with EHD and trying to rebuild the herd. And now there's millions of dollars going into CWD testing, and that's where they're pushing their whole priority on. It doesn't matter if it's North Dakota, South Dakota, or Montana, or Wyoming.
Well, you had the Great American Outdoor Act, which I was against. Unfortunately, Trump actually signed that. Millions of dollars in there for CWD testing. Yeah, they touted it as it was a big thing to rebuild national parks, and there's huge amount of money in there for CWD research, and that's what's happening. That's why every game and fish entity, whether it's Department of Natural Resources or every entity they use, that's what's happening, and that's where the money's flowing, and that's why this is happening. That's why that's all they're concentrating on, because they've seen it as a big slush fund, just like they always do.
The exciting part about this is on this Saturday's program and my program, I'm going to have Levi Nelson, and he took an elk in Montana, and he's taken deer. He's got like 400 tags, I think, this year.
Holy God.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm exaggerating.
But he's got a lot of tags.
But he said on the comments, he says, I'm going to bring Jake my Montana deer this fall. I'll tell you what, Levi, if you're going to do this, take every single thing you shoot, because it turns out phenomenal. And he has more selections. And I hate to be the guy bragging up Jake, but here's the thing. I had him come out and take one of my heifers, and he came out to the place. He does it on your place, takes care of it. Best thing I've ever ate. I took him some old antelope and old mule deer, and he mixed it up and made sausage. And here's the thing, Clay. Do you like hot dogs?
I'll eat them, yeah.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. Right? You have not had his hot dogs.
I gotta be careful of that statement.
There, you can be.
Got that ring around his mouth.
Here's the thing, though. There's a lot of people that are like, I will never eat that until they tried that. I don't know what he mixes them with or what he does, but one of my neighbors says there is no way I'm going to eat that. And he said, came back and he takes his meat to Jake and he says, this is the guy I want to make that up there. So there are very few people in the countryside that have the reputation of being able to do it with beef and wild game together.
Yeah.
And during COVID years, you've seen it just as much as anybody else has. All these places opened up, all these small meat markets, right? And good for them if they're still going. But there was a lot of people from the East Coast that came out and tried to open them up, and they failed at it because they just did generic stuff.
Yeah.
You got to stick with the old school stuff.
You know, Lemon's got one down here that's
Right.
It's look good down there. And of course, Rod's been up at Carson for years, and Rod's done a lot of my stuff when I take it. I do all my own wild game, but I butcher now my own beef right here on the place. So my beef it's born here, it lives here, it dies here, and we eat it. And I really love knowing that. I do still keep an appointment with Rod because I don't want to lose it because he's scheduled out so far. So I still take one to him every year just so I can get it. And you're right, though. So many of these guys started up and they're not in existence anymore, and they weren't good at it. They just thought they could come in and supposedly make a bunch of money.
Well, people have the misconception that people that have meat shops get filthy rich.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, that's a true statement. And you
Really?
don't get filthy rich, and it tears your body up. And they're not prepared for it. And so, when COVID was going on, that's the busiest I've seen it in 30 years. And I've been doing this my entire life. I was a head cutter in a federal plant. I worked state and custom, Dakota Pack and Hettinger. I worked there for a long time. I worked grocery store, wild game. I've done it all. And so then COVID hit and everybody got, all of a sudden it was nuts. And then all these plants started firing up. Well, then the government came out and started giving all these grants to people wanting to do this.
Yes, they did.
I never took one dime of that money. Not one dime. And everybody said, well, why not? It's free money. Why not? It's free money. Well, where in the hell was the government at 30 years ago when all these places were going belly up?
Yeah, no kidding. And there's no such thing as free money anyway. It never
right. And that's the other thing I said. They might tell you it's free, but sometime, somewhere, someday, they're going to come knocking on your door.
There's always strings generally, and
it's bullshit.
I don't take no money here either. Never have, never will. I'm an anomaly. Trust me, it's in the agricultural business.
You need to get closer to your mic, Clay, because
pretty bad yet.
There you go. Get up there and tell us what you really think.
I don't take any federal money.
Okay.
And I'm proud of that. I don't have the newest, latest, greatest stuff, but we own it all, and I don't answer to nobody, and I don't have to do what they want. And that's what I like about that. The same thing with what you're talking about. If the money is coming from the feds, they don't have any money. They take it from other people. There's going to be parameters. There's going to be strings, and you got to watch out and see what those are, as far as I'm concerned. But all right, so moving on. I guess I want to get down to what you do, but I want to take a quick time out and pay some bills. We actually have sponsors, and we probably should say hi.
I thought you said you didn't take any money
from the feds. So, gee, you sound like a lib now, trying to just mix the words and
yeah.
I own a gun. I own a gun for protection.
I own a gun, yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick time out, and we'll be right back. Let's talk about a fundraiser you do over there, Jake. Scott keeps telling me about it, and
I have other things I want to talk about, so get after it.
All right.
That's a war face. Now let me see your war face. You don't scare me.
REAPAIR, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. Give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
All right, we're back, everybody. So, in the break here, Scott, evidently the comments are coming in on our deal. So the comments they're coming in that you see that are extra, guys, are from his live stream. So just so you know that's where those are coming from.
I see your answer. You answered to your wife too.
I did, yeah. And Eric, you're right. He says, "Yeah, Clay, you say you don't answer to anyone." Well, he says, "I see you around your wife. You answer to her." Well, I do.
So here's the best thing: I own a gun, but it's vegan.
But it's vegan. That's got to be Kelsey.
It is Kelsey. Kelsey, I am going to steal that everywhere I go.
That sounds like a T-shirt idea, don't it?
Well, here, you want a T-shirt idea?
Give your balls
no, it's give your balls a tug. Okay. It's a letter Kenny thing. So, before you get into Jake and what he does for the wild game feed in Baker, which is phenomenal, by the way, one of the biggest auctions I do, and I do Trinity, I do University of Mary, which raises a lot, but I will not miss the Baker wild game feed. Before we get into that, I raise 100% grass-fed beef. And anybody that raises cattle need to start doing that, is recommending that to all vegans and vegetarians out there. They're like, oh, we're plant-based. We are plant-based beef. 100%, always have been, always originally. That's what we need to market.
Well, mine are grass-fed too all summer. And then I fatten them on corn. I like that, and I'm never changing that.
Hey, but it's still plants that you're fattening up with.
Plant. That's right. We're plant-based, right?
It is plant. We are the original plant-based beef originators.
Perfect.
You want the Wonder Burger? It's been here forever.
Yeah. What's that? I'm not even going to mention the name, but it's the fake meat stuff, and I can't believe people even buy that. What's it even called? I don't even remember. Fake burger. That's what they should call it.
Beyond Beef, isn't it? Isn't that what they call it?
Yeah, I think that was one of them. And you don't hear much about that anymore. Evidently, it didn't sell real well.
It's probably bad for you.
Well,
hey, you look at the ingredients. That's some nasty stuff. All the ingredients on there.
We don't want testosterone or hormones, but we'll have chemicals in our meat to make it taste like beef in our plants. Yeah.
And it don't taste like beef.
Hey,
I've never tried one, and I don't plan to.
Best gun raffle and auction in the world, and they have the best auctioneer. That you got to go.
Oh, okay. So Jake, I'm sure just go, right?
I knew where you were going with it, but I kept my mouth shut. So
I got to say, I listened to Scott. At least I tried to on the Saturday. If just in case you didn't hear Scott in our video there, did you hear we had Dakota Prairie Outdoors on North Dakota's youth?
I did. I seen that little clip. I appreciate that.
We had that going. Like, oh, we got to listen to this. And now we're gutting deer and having some fun. And by the way, that was a great time. Take a young person out like that. She dropped it at 206 yards. And we had a blast. So, getting now back to what you do, Jake. So you have a big fundraiser over there, and I've heard Scott have you on the show, and some of the guns you get are just amazing. And I know you searched long and hard for them. So give us a rundown as to what you do, and of course we'll get the dates, and let's get the word out some more on that.
Okay, so we're a nonprofit, and basically we are a nonprofit that helps other nonprofits in need. So, and then Scott reiterated some of this earlier, but so we try to focus on youth groups. So we always try to have 1 or 2 youth groups involved. First responders, churches, historical societies. Things of that nature. Now, with that being said, we try to keep it local in the tri-state area here is what we mean, but just being a nonprofit won't get you in the door. If you're like, for an example, like Boys or Girl Scouts, we will not support them because all the money that they generate gets sent to the national office. And somebody's getting paid. And we won't help those people out.
Well, it's not one thing at Boy Scouts either. They have completely woke, and it's not a good organization anymore. I think they even removed their shooting program. I don't know for sure.
Friends with NRA is another one for an example. And I've dealt with them. I'm not saying it's a bad organization, but it's still a national organization. And when you do a fundraiser, some of that money goes to the national office. We don't do that. And nobody that works with us gets paid. It's all volunteer. Nobody gets paid. And we try to help these organizations out, and they have to kind of show us a need or what they want to do with the money. We did an ambulance service one time. They needed new radios. The county would not fund them the money, and so they come to us, and we got them the money. We got fire departments, new trucks, new buildings, new gear, because their counties would not give them the money, and so we did. And those are the kind of things we do. There's churches that would have been closed because they didn't have any money. And we take them over.
You don't just limit it to one area, hunting, shooting. It's something in need is what you're saying locally.
Right, are the people we're trying to help. And then the event is for people like us, that like to hunt, that like to fish, like guns, like the outdoors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then, we have an event. We have different entities every year that the money is going to be going to. And that's our workforce. Those are the people that come and work the night of. Then we have volunteers like Scott that come every year. He does our auctioning. And we have games and we have food. And the doors open at 4:00. The food goes from 4 to 6. It's all wild game. About 80% of it is made by me. I have some other ladies that do some specialty things, and that's a free will donation. It costs nothing to get in the door. And then we start with the little kids games, which when I say little kids, I'm talking from 0 to 10 years old. And we have games for them to play. They're gonna win. They're gonna win. And then after that, we go into the youth table, which are the kids that are old enough to hunt. And that table, there's TVs, there's game consoles, there's guns, things kind of that age orientated. And then we have the adult games, which could be bucket raffles, could be auctions, Could be we play heads or tails, and I'll give guns away just by playing heads or tails. It won't cost you a dime. We have hunt table. We have a lot of stuff, and we give away. I shouldn't say giveaway, but technically we give away. I've given up to 130 guns away in one night.
Oh yeah, we had banquets where we did 100 guns. We had 1,000-person banquets, so I don't know how many you draw there, but that could be a lot.
Generally, we draw 1,000 or more people.
Yeah, and you need that. Let's just face it, you know it, and I know it. Money.
Clay, I'm going to interrupt you here a little bit. Yep. There's a difference between 100 guns in an event and 100 guns at the Baker Wild Game Feed.
Yes, there is, and I know where you're going with this.
The 100 guns that he gives away. So I'm going to tell this one story.
They're collectibles.
Not always. Okay, not always. Okay, so I've helped you MC a lot of events, and I like winner takes all table, or I like the $100 tables because you have less chances. I don't like everybody to have a chance. I like that stuff.
Yes.
There was a 6-year-old girl last year.
Year before last.
She went up to her dad and says, "Dad, I need $50." And he said, "Why?" "Because I want to win that gun on that table." There was a 3-gun raffle, $50 for a ticket. And there was a 26 nozzler, 28 nozzler, and I think a 22. It was all the nozzlers, right?
Yeah, 22 nozzler was the other one. Yep.
And she said, "I want that 22 nozzler." And she's a 6-year-old girl. And he gave her $50 and she won the damn 22 nozzler.
That's great.
And I was excited as he was, and he's excited as she was, and then she thinks, well, that's how it's done. It's easy as that, right? Plus she won some other gifts on the regular kids stuff. But here's the thing is the guns that he gives away range from collectors, because there's a lot of people, and he goes to a lot of estate sales that there's high dollar collectors like Bruce Jordan. We know that guy, right? I mean, he's been to this auction and he's loved it. He bought a lot of stuff one night.
I'm sure he did.
Okay, and if he shows up, you know it's good stuff.
He's definitely bidding.
Yeah. He's gonna. If his hand is up, you ain't gonna beat him. But whether it's military, new age hunting, right? There, down to the kids' tables and stuff, so everybody can get into the game of hunting or shooting, for that matter. There's a little bit for everything, and some of these guns, man. I mean, tell me, Jake. I mean, $6,000 to $8,000 last year. That military set was like $8,000.
Right. I've had some collectibles up there worth $10,000. I've got one this year, or a gun that I bought that we actually own. We're not going to give it away. It's going to be on display, and it's an actual Indian gun. And there's a story that goes along with the gun, but that gun was appraised at $28,000.
Wow!
Wow.
We have it on display at the museum. It'll be on display the night of the game feed at the game feed. And then there's some other stuff that I'm going to try, historical artifacts that are guns that we're going to try to buy, one a year if we can. Some of those, you get into some of those, like Sitting Bull's pistol, for example. I think the reserve bid on it $75,000.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about this on your show, Scott, when you had Jake on, and some of the guns you guys bring in. It's just phenomenal. And you know what we need to do? We need to have Jordan bring down his Gatling gun and set it up for display just for fun.
I will have one of those one year. I will have one of those.
Well, Bruce
on is some Civil War artifacts. I'd love to have a cannon. I'd love to have a Gatling gun. There's no paperwork on a Gatling gun. You don't have to do paperwork.
No, I knew that already. And you're right. The Gatling is cool. A lot of times, if Bruce really believes in what you're doing, he'll let you auction off so many rounds if you got a place to set it up the next day. And whoever bids on that, then they can go shoot it. So,
right.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had it out at my place the one year, and it is cool looking. It's a conversation piece when it's sitting there.
Right. Other
November
historical
9th. November 9th
Yep.
is the day. Everybody listening, Clay, Jamie, I was like, oh, that's opening deer season in North Dakota. It's 16 goddamn days. Get your ass down there.
I'll have to put someone else on patrol here then, huh?
Hey, your wife is meaner than you. Just get after it.
Can be.
That's the bad thing is we got to say that we have to put people on patrol on private land.
Oh, I know.
That's such a sad thing that we got to say that, because Jake's in Montana where everything's assumed posted and you just paint your corner post purple or whatever it is, and South Dakota is assumed posted, and we're sitting here in the North Dakota side, the tri-state area, still fighting this.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't know if you need to take a break or not, but I have some things that I would like to bring up.
Even though we're that way, you still have to patrol here as well.
Yeah, I can see that.
You have the same issue.
That's true, but I can tell you it's a lot worse.
Right. I've been to North Dakota. I know, but we still have those same issues as well. It's not, you can't just walk away from it.
And it's always going to be, it's a gun or anything else. Bad guys who are with the intent of illegal are going to do it. You're never going to stop them.
And that's with anything that we talk about. I mean, no matter what you're doing, but I don't know what your schedule is there, Clay, so you got to tell me.
Well, you were talking the 8th and the 9th, so you and I probably talk. I know I'd like to get Jamie over there, but I know he won't leave on opener deer, but that's okay. He's listening. He says
he just needs to push his ovaries down and get some balls.
Here's what he said. He said, I only get about 7 days out of deer season to hunt, so there's all kinds of gun raffles throughout the year that I can get into.
I see that, yeah.
That's need to move to Montana. It lasts for 6 weeks.
You need to move to Slope County. It lasts 1 day. I showed him an antelope season that lasted 45 minutes. He's hunting in the wrong area.
I'm going up there for pheasant season with Jamie this year. It's the opener, so we'll have some fun up there. But I would love to go to that. I know that I've said that in the past. But so I got a question. I'm guessing if I do that, Scott, that's a 2-dayer because I'll have to come up the night before.
I got a place to stay.
Yeah, I know. And then we can have some fun. I'd love to get up there and do it. I really would. So maybe I'll bring a
You got to remember, though, this year, my wife and I both drew an elk tag. So if you come up here, bring a pack, bring a horse, bring something that's going to take meat out of the canyon.
Anymore. We just bought a new one, but he ain't ready to ride.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's no better way of training him than throwing 2 back quarters over the top of his back.
He's a yearling. So
I don't care.
Young.
He's yours. I don't give a damn.
Actually, it's Danelle's, but you know how that goes.
No, I don't.
I could use, I could use the exercise anyway. I'm getting a little pudgy now. Like
round is a shape.
Round is a shape. So, tell you what, let's take a quick break. We'll come back after that. We'll continue it and have some fun. How's that sound? No comments, right? All right.
That'll work.
Get it done.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
Ever tried catching a fish with your bare hands or hunting a deer with a stick? Don't be that guy. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we've got all the hunting and camping gear you need. We're your one-stop shop for outdoor adventure.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Check us out at mandansportinggoods.com, or better yet, stop in to 210 East Main Street, Mandan, North Dakota. Mandan Sporting Goods, where the outdoors meets functionality. Store hours, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Closed Sunday. Take up arms at Mandan Sporting Goods. Your adventure starts here.
Looking for the best gun gear for every and any situation? Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
Yeah, hey, look, I got the moves like Michael, the flow like Aubrey, walk around thinking I'm a prince like Saudi. Mismatched Converse, t-shirts tucked in, know my worth, can't tell me nothing. White Nikes, albino, can cop my stilo, head to the top, bottom line is a motto.
All right, we're back thanks to our great sponsors, Lauer Auto Repair down there on 309 South Washington. Hey, stop in there. Hunting season's right around the corner. Get your vehicle checked out. Axe and the boys will take care of it. And they've been on since the beginning with us, supporting us. And I can't think of a better place to go to than Lauer Auto Repair, where you know your money is going to a pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment, and freedom-loving shop. So go there, check them out at 309 South Washington Street. All right, so we were talking about a few of the guns there. So what do you serve for food here? I got to ask that question. I don't know what that matters, but hey, I said I'd ask.
It depends on what I can get my hands on. I do several different types of rope sausage. We have, that's every year. I have German sausage, Polish sausage, country sausage. We have deer stir fry, antelope stroganoff, moose spaghetti, buffalo meatballs, mountain lion baked beans, bear chili. If I got bighorn sheep, I'll have bighorn sheep chili.
Porcupine? I just got to ask porcupine.
Nope. Elk enchiladas.
Okay.
Elk meatloaf.
So you got a great variety, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, There, it just depends on what I can get. I've got, plenty of bear right now. I've got a couple lions in the freezer. We usually have elk, deer, antelope, moose. If one of my group, if we can keep getting lucky enough to draw tags, we stretch it out. I stretched the bull that I shot out, I think, for 6 years. And then we got another one last year, right when mine ran out. So we try to keep moose there, which moose is my personal favorite. Mountain goat, I've had that. I've had exotic rams. I've had wild boar. I've had yak.
Any gator? You ever had gator?
No, I kind of stay away from the fish part, gator. I know gator's not fish, but I kind of stay away from that kind of aspect. You know, I'd love to get some African stuff, but that's pretty tough.
I suppose people can donate to you meat if they want to.
I'm pretty picky. I just won't take it. You know, I own a meat shop, and I've seen all the, you know, everything come through the door. So I'm a little particular in what I'll take. And like the people around here that run Lions, Fish and Game, they know what I do too. And you know, I got 2 lions last year, one from Fish and Game and one from a hunter. And lions are good eats. They are really good eats.
I've been told that. I've never had the opportunity, but I've been told that mountain lion's delicious. So
it's lighter than pheasant.
Yeah.
Really.
And so when you get into the meat world, you know, the lighter it is, the better it is. And the only thing I can think of off the top of my head that's lighter than lion is mountain goat.
Really? That's another thing I've never had the opportunity. But
very good. All them horror stories you hear about mountain goats, it's bullshit.
Okay. Lynette says gator tastes like white fish. I don't know. I've had a lot of gator, but
I've had gator several times. You know,
it's always deep fried most of the time where I go. That's what they do down there, I guess. And it's good. I mean, I can't say it's been bad when we've had.
Right. I think that it all just, you know, depends on, you know, the age of the gator. I think, you know, from what I've encountered with it, but and that's no different than, you know, elk or anything else. You know, if you shoot a 15-year-old elk, well, it's going to be boot leather.
Yeah.
I've noticed when we take the younger gators where we go, they're always much better. Just like anything. The older it is, the tougher it probably gets.
Right. So
I was just curious. And then I noticed. Did you say something to Game and Fish? Did them donate a lion or had a lion they got for you?
Yeah. Confiscated one, and one of the girls knew that what we do, and so she had the game warden get a hold of me.
Makes you wonder if they do that here, huh, Scott? If any of our Game and Fish outfits would do something like that?
No.
I don't think they would either.
No.
You mean
I've been from them. I've gotten lion from them. They've tried to give me some other stuff that I wouldn't take, because I knew the story behind it, and I didn't.
Was that the one under the porch in Baker? Was that one?
Yeah, kind of, sort of, yeah.
Yeah, I know the story of that one.
So,
anyway, how long does this generally run to in the evening?
So here's a good thing, Clay. I'm glad you brought this up because Jamie, he spouts off saying that I'm not saying a gun raffle isn't awesome, but deer season is just more important to me at the ranch. Well, you can't hunt deer at night.
Legally.
Yeah, legally. So get your ass down there and join us because Wayne Muth goes to Medora. He comes in that night, and then he hunts the next day, and then he comes down to Baker. And I talked him into it, and he's like, Scott, that's a long ways to go. And he came to Baker, and he's like, I'm never going to miss another one of these. Plus, he won 3 guns. Okay, that helps.
What happens when somebody does go to it. That's usually the effect. You know, people plan their vacations, their hunting trips around this. I get people from all over the nation that just totally revamp their hunting agenda to make it work to be here for it.
You know, and you'll see that, especially if it's a good one. I mean, we saw that. Remember, when we was in Lemon, well, Scranton was the same thing. Guys were coming out, and they made sure they did not miss that event because it was so much fun, and that's part of it, too.
You know, Belfield is another one. You see a lot of people, you know, that they get a lot of people that plan for it every year. I know there's folks from here that you know, they haven't missed one in 20 years that I know of.
Wow.
And you know, and I have people that come to mind the same kind of thing, you know, and then some of these people that, you know, like from the Belfield event that have come to my event, all of a sudden they're copycatting a lot of the stuff we're doing.
Right. Yeah, they are, because I'm the auctioneer at that one too, Jake. So yeah, I can see that.
Right.
Except they did not bring the bras out.
Okay. Bras.
I'm telling you, bras. Clay, you want to have fun. You want to have a good time in an area that's not PC, and you don't have to worry about what you say.
Well, I would love to come.
I told Jake years ago, I said, you know, one of the events that I do for the Bismarck Cancer Society, I do two events each year for them. One is Bucks for Bras, and one is Boxers and Beers. And coming up here in October, I'm going to have the Bucks for Bras, and all these ladies come out with bras decorated up. And I said, you know what, you should do this and sell the bras and have a little fun. And last year he did it, and he made Jesse Flath model every one of them.
Oh God!
And I'll tell you this, Jesse fit into every one of them, except I learned what an A cup was, and so did Jesse, and he didn't fit into that.
Well, you know, if I do make it up there, which I'd love to come up, and I would love to help you guys out and even help you out on the auction, because that's what I help you with.
The reason I do it when we do it, we've always had it on that weekend, and so back when this started 20 years ago, I gave away one gun. It was a way for me to get rid of my wild game, because everybody in my family hunted, and I'm sitting there going, what in the hell am I going to do with all this shit? And that's how it started. And the reason we kept it during the time of the year is, if you win a gun and you're from North Dakota, or you're from Canada, or you're from South Dakota, you can take that gun and you can go hunt with it that year.
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
And so, you know, and not everything we have is collectibles, not everything's, guaranteed war, memorabilia. Yes, I do have that stuff, and it's, a lot of that's hard to find, and I have different things every year, but from a hunting caliber standpoint, I've had about every caliber in the world in my hands.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I got another question. I'm guessing you have a few handguns in this too?
Generally. So we've been fortunate that the leaf lickers don't show up, and it's probably fortunate on their part more than our part.
Yeah.
But so I stay away from assault rifles. I mean, I'm not saying I've never had them, and I generally stay away from pistols. But I have had pistols, and I have had a lot of them. We tried different things. People, for the most part, seem to spend more money in this part of the world for the hunting calibers.
Yeah, well, you got to give them what they want, but
I in, and I mean, we without 1 year, I probably had 40 pistols there or something like that. And the thing with pistols is, I'm not a pistol guy, but people are really picky.
Oh boy.
And I'm like, well, Jesus Christ, it's brand new. What the hell's wrong with it? I don't like that son of a bitch. I'll take that $200 22, and I'm like, okay. Bows are the same way. I've had bows that are worth up to $2,000 or more, and this was years ago. And it'd be the last thing sitting on the damn table.
I can tell you one thing with pistols. The 1911 is always going to be popular. If it looks like this, it's going to be popular, which is custom. And we did a lot of those in the banquets, and they made the money. That's actually the raffle gun we're doing this year for our Farm Bureau.
Everybody wants Colt. Colt is what everybody wants, and from a 45, 1911 standpoint, I have one, an authentic military 45 from World War II that I have Providence on. That's the money.
Yeah, and Colts are great. I mean, they are. I mean, it's the original 1911. But I can tell you that the auto ordinances they do well in a raffle as well. But
I've had those as well.
And it's not so good.
Kimbers, I've had Kimbers. I've had a lot of pistols throughout the years. But the other thing in this day and age, I can't go through the people I go through for new guns. I can't walk in there and get 100 different possible. It's not going to happen anymore. I used to, but not no more. So now that's why I go to the auctions. I get the collectibles, the obsoletes.
Right.
Those obsoletes are amazing. People really go for the obsolete calibers too. I've had guns where a box of ammo is worth as much as the gun, and I'll have a box or two of ammo with it.
Yes. that ammo thing's a big thing too, especially on obsolete or collectible calibers. That we have. Go to a gun show, look at them. They're pretty.
Right.
Yeah. So the reason I asked, I was just curious, and maybe I shouldn't even ask this. Do you guys run these through FFLs, or is it private sales? Considered private?
No, FFL.
What's that?
FFL.
FFL. Well, then that would make it problematic with a handgun anyway, especially if they're out of state.
Right. That's why I stay away from them. I mean, I do have them. I do have some guns that are not FFL. And we try, if we can, we try to keep them that way.
Oh yeah, and that's not illegal. Although, be careful with these new things that ATF came out with.
Right. Like this year, everything is papered. Everything.
Yep. Yeah, they really came down this year.
It's bad. Yeah. The new rules that they unconstitutionally put in there. Yeah, it's bad.
The main reason that we do FFLs on everything now is because I don't want to hand somebody a gun at an event. They have to come in the next day, go to our FFL, and get the gun.
That never bothered me. It never has, never will. I don't care if they get handed that night, as long as they've passed their 4473, they can have it. But we did it both ways when I was doing that.
If you have a concealed, odds are you'll walk out with it that night. But if you don't, you're going to have to go to the FFL the next day and get it done that way.
Yeah, and a lot of times it was up to the FFL dealer whether they wanted to do that many transfers in a night too.
Right.
But they're local guys, Clay. They do just a heck of a job. They really do. One of the things I want to make sure that everybody understands about why the Baker Wild Game Feed is what it is. Jake does a hell of a job. And Jake, I don't know if you want to explain how this came to be. I know it's kind of a sensitive topic, but this is what got me wanting to help you, if you would explain that.
Well, I don't know. Why don't you explain it? Because I'm not sure. I mean, I want to be on the same page as you are, so you explain it, and then I'll ad lib.
Well, it came from a family situation. I want you to explain that, why you started it out there.
Well, originally, like I said before, I owned a bar, and everybody in my family wanted to get every tag they could and hunt everything they could, and I've got all this wild game, and I'm like, there's no way we can eat all this, so I decided to have a wild game feed. Well, if we have a feed, we better give a gun away, so that's what we did.
Right. There's more to it, though.
Right. I'm going back to the origination here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And so after I had my first heart attack, we sold the bar. And then I bought the meat shop, and we took a year off. We didn't have a game feed. And then one of my friends come to me who just passed away and said, you need to fire this back up. And I'm like, well, I ain't going to have it at the damn meat shop, and what the hell am I going to, So we went and we had it at the American Legion. And so one of the things when we were doing this, and so they wanted me to start making it bigger. And I'm like, well, I'll see what I can do. So I went and talked to the guy I got the guns from and explained to him what I wanted to do. And he basically bankrolled me. And so that year, I think I went up to 27 guns, which, from an event standpoint, that ain't much, yada, yada, yada. But my ass is on the line for that money. And if it flops, it's on me.
Yeah.
So we ran it at the American Legion. It was a success. And then after that year, we moved out to the fairgrounds and went into the exhibit hall, and we went bigger again. And then it got to the point where I couldn't do it. It was just me and my wife. And it was to the point that her and I could not do everything. And so then we got a committee, and so we could delegate responsibilities, and it just kept getting bigger. And then we got so big, we moved into the livestock show barn, which is the biggest building in town, and we had it in there, and we used half of the building. And every time that we moved to a new spot, I'll remember this as long as I live. I would walk into that building and I'm going, wow, there's a lot of room here and I got to fill this up. Well, that's going to be something, you know. I mean, like, hopefully this, you know, works out. And so then after the first year at the livestock barn, my son died, and so we renamed in his honor, and we ran it under his name until he would have graduated from high school, and then we went back to the Fallon County Wild Game Feed, and every year we've extended that barn, how much of it we use, and now we use the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well,
And I mean, I could fit probably 2,000 people in there. But I know we get over 1,000. We've never counted. I know we get over 1,000. We might bump up, you know, on that 1,200, 1,300 mark at the right time of the night. I don't know. So that's how, you know, we've grown steadily. Some year we're going to reach our cap. I don't know where it's going to be, but eventually we're going to reach our cap.
We'll find out when the police chief comes in and tells us when we're reached the cap.
And so did I cover the stuff
you did? You know, the biggest thing that, you know, I know it's a sensitive issue and everything that you lost your son, and we do a little bit of a scholarship fund for that too. And I don't think you should let that out, that there's a scholarship fund that you do in Baker area for this. And that's a tough thing. I mean, as a parent to continue doing this thing. Yeah. And I commend you doing that. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't imagine it as a father of two boys. My prayers are with you on that. I know it's been a while, but I know it never goes away.
No, it don't. So, you know, I'll do this as long as I can keep doing it. I mean, it's one of the funnest things that you can ever imagine to put on or be part of.
It's a good time, Clay. I the whole night, I don't care if you're young or you're old, you're involved in games all night long.
Well, that's why it takes up so much room. Like you said, you could have 2,000 people, but I know what that takes. I always used to say, I need about double the room for everything we're doing. So
but here's the thing, though.
A ton of things.
It is ranchy because it's in the sale barn. And that's what I like, except for the end of the night, because as an auctioneer, there's a little dust that gets kicked up off all the heads and tails stuff. But it is so fun because it's such a community that comes together. So I'm going to tell you a story, Clay. So 2 years ago, Jake offered the Bowman Wrestling Club to be part of this. Okay. And he guaranteed him an X amount of money. And the Bowman Wrestling Club was like, there is no way. There's no way. Right? And one of the neighbors right next to me here, his kids are pretty handy at wrestling. Yep. So we walk in there, Jesse and I walk in, we're going up and down, and we're buying tickets to everything because love it all, right? I mean, we're buying tickets. And this guy's like, he's like, how often have you come here? We're like, we've been here for a few years now. And he's like, but people are just pulling out hundreds. We've never seen this in my life. Like, they have stacks of hundreds to every game that we're doing. I'm like, that's what this is. He's like, I can't. After we got done with it, and Jake, I think you guaranteed the Bowman Wrestling Club like $25,000 the first year and $25,000 the next year coming back. You guaranteed it before you even had the banquet, and they were just blown away that somebody in Baker, a wrestling competitor, would help another neighboring community out to do for their wrestling club. Yeah, that's how cool this is, Clay.
So, I mean, you don't have to say it, but about estimate, what do you usually raise? That's what I would call the net after all expenses.
2 to 3 million.
I wish.
Just on the auction. Just on the auction.
Well, you know, every year is different because I buy all the guns, and then we try businesses to sponsor those guns.
Absolutely.
And our goal is to have all the guns sponsored going into the event. And it just depends on the year how much of that happens. Right. So whatever doesn't get sponsored, then obviously we got it covered. Absolutely. So every year kind of varies how much we make. I can't give you an honest answer. We gross I can't be honest. I'm not the treasurer either, but I'm pretty sure we're over a $250,000.
Wow, that is a big event.
And we might even push 300. I don't know.
And the reason I ask that is because it shows how much you can actually help. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You raise that kind of dollars, you can do some things.
And the thing with the entities, and it depends on the size of the entity because they're our workforce. So if you got an entity that's only got 6 or 8 people, but they need some money, we cap an entity at $25,000. That's the most you can get in 1 year at this point in time.
Yeah.
But if you're a small entity, you don't, and some entities don't need that much money, then they'll come in for, a quarter share, or third share, half share, whatever. Right. And, try to accommodate, what they need. And then if you get to the bigger entities, like the wrestling club, for example, or a fire department, for example, and they're trying to raise enough money to be able to get a grant, then we try to get them that, not in 1 year, but in a couple of years' time, enough money to hit that threshold so they can get what they need.
Well, it's nothing to spend $100,000 on a new truck. I mean, I know that.
You can buy that without even fire equipment on it right now.
Yeah.
Right. So, and we try to help youth organizations. Wrestling clubs are just one. There's baseball and there's wrestling. Yeah. There's all kinds of them. And, and I get approached by, I've got a list of people, wanting to get on and get in the door. And that's got to go in front of our committee. And then they vote on it, whether they get in or not. And I used to be, the president, et cetera, and I've stepped back from that. I'm just a member now. So, which I did that on my own choice.
That's a tough thing, though, Jake. I mean, to be the president and then you're part of the community and you're trying to make those dollar figures work out. I can see stepping back because it's time for somebody else to make those decisions. Because when you're a pillar of the community and you're trying to do everything, there's always going to be people that are happy and there's going to be people that are mad.
Well, the thing that with me is, obviously at some point in time, I'm going to kick the bucket. I've had 3 major heart attacks. At some point in time, I'm going to tip over. We all are. And I want as many people doing as many different things as this event goes so they know what to do. So if I do go, they can keep doing it.
Right. You want it to continue. And that's how you do that. You got to have a bench, essentially.
You're right. And if I'm in charge forever, then nobody's going to learn how to do it.
Right.
Yep.
So I just decided I needed to step back for multiple reasons. That was obviously the main one, but you get too many irons in the fire and you're burning the candle at both ends, and pretty soon you just got to say, I gotta cut back somewhere.
Everyone reaches that point. Trust me, you can do too much. I'm the one that goes and buys all the guns. I've taken, my daughter's part of the committee, and I've taken her, and I've taken other guys with me to auctions. Trying to get them to, so they know the feel of what the hell they're doing. Right.
I didn't know shit about guns. I mean, I knew guns, but I didn't know shit about guns like I do now. I mean, I can walk into a gun show, I can walk into an auction, and I can basically tell you just about what the hell everything is worth.
Yeah.
Well, that's just through repetition, and you do your homework, and it's
right.
When it comes to guns, we all didn't know something at one time.
Running serial numbers, finding out when they're made, where they're made, all that stuff, and I do that on every gun that I get. And just for the simple fact is, some of them are jewels.
Right.
So
you find that little diamond in the rough. You just never know where you're going to find it.
Right. I've got a couple this year. I've got a Marlin in a 30-30 model 36. And the 30-30 round come out, I believe, in 1885. 85 or 86, I can't remember. And the this Marlin 36 was made in that year. And it looks brand new. Like you could take it off a shelf and think it was a brand new gun.
Like I said,
where do you find this stuff, Jake? Where do you find a gun that's like that rare?
I got that gun at that wolf auction in Bismarck.
Oh yeah, they just had that, didn't they?
No, this one was last winter. I go in the wintertime when the blizzard hits, and then they don't get no people to show up, and I go in there.
So Gene Cox, he says 6.5 Remington or a 350 Remington Magnum. Those are rare. And Gene would go too.
I've had 2 of them. Yep.
Has Gene come to this? Seems like one time Gene.
No, we're trying to get his ass over here, but he's the mayor of Mobridge, and he's got to be around for like political stuff.
Mayor of Mobridge, he's walked into my meat shop before.
I'm saying he's an inspector.
We'll get him. This is the year that Jamie and Gene and all these guys need to get over here.
Actually, I'll make you a deal here. If Gene wants to drive to my place and hop in with me, we'll come over. But we're staying for the long haul, Gene. I'm probably staying overnight.
Well, you better stay overnight.
Well, we do have, just so it's out there, we do have a bar there that night as well. So, just I mean,
we're staying overnight.
there are refreshments in case you get thirsty.
Pull my camper up and set it up in Baker. We'll just all stay there, huh?
You can set it up outside the door.
Sleeping in a damn camper.
Gene says, I'll be there. There we go.
All right, Gene's in. We just need Jamie and we need Clay. We got 33% of you guys.
I'll put it this way. I'm planning to go, Scott. I've been wanting to do this.
It's a good time, I'll tell you this. And I know it's North Dakota deer opener. I get that. I really do. But it's at night, and you don't have to worry about it.
Every year I try to do a theme of some kind. Like last year was Winchester Model 70 pre-64s. I had a boatload of them. This year it's buffalo calibers.
Yes.
And I've got Jewels of the Nile.
Really?
You have Teddy Roosevelt's buffalo gun?
No, I don't. But I have some bell ringers.
Nice. DJ says I'm in Watford City that weekend, only 117 miles. DJ, I tell you what, let's do this. I'm planning to go. We might as well all meet up over there and have fun.
Well, Doug can come to my place and jump in with me.
Yeah, problem.
Yeah, we're good with that.
And you know DJ, he used to be in Rapid City, so with the Friends of NRA event. See, now we're getting all our old crew back together.
The Spenders.
We did have fun too, didn't we?
We had a great time, yeah.
So, all right. Well, like I said, I don't know what. I think you kind of explained it good. Sounds like it's a great. Where is it taking place again? The livestock barn? Is it
at the Fallon County Fairgrounds? It's on the south end of town.
Baker, Montana.
Barn, yeah. Barn, big red, white, and barn on your way to Ekalaki. On your left, you can't miss it. It's where all the outfits are.
Okay, so it's easy to find. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So set your calendar, guys. November 9th, and if we need to get a hold of. If they want to call you, where do we do that?
You can just walk in. That's what's nice about it.
Don't need to contact ahead of time.
No, you don't have to have tickets or nothing.
Okay. DJ, you asked what time it starts. I believe you said 4:00, right?
Yes. It's free to get in. There's no tickets. You don't have to reserve tables. Nothing like that.
The only thing you got to reserve is drinks for the auctioneer.
Right, and the food is a free will donation.
Gotcha. All right.
So,
I imagine I'm going to have to come over this year, Scott.
Well, you just said it, so you're coming.
One of the things I will say over the years, being on the radio with Scott, the amount of people that come to it because of that, and just go up out of the blue at the meat shop is amazing. You don't realize how many people are actually listening to you until you're in my shoes. And then I was cooking in Bowman at the car show, and a guy walked up to me at the car show and he goes, "Right?" Yeah. And he goes, "I've listened to you on North Dakota Outdoors, I don't know how many times." And he rattled his name off, and he listens to your show every week. And he's from up by Grand Forks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And he on the radio talked about the food that we were putting out of the truck. And he come down to the car show to have the food.
So you were at the car show, though. I see. I missed that day.
Yep.
You know what, Clay? Here's the thing. There's a lot of shows that compete against each other. We're trying to help each other, build each other up, right? That's what we do. And there's nothing wrong with that because more people need to do that in outdoor and the agricultural industry instead of tear each other down all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So 4 o'clock, it goes until whenever you want to stay. But I highly recommend you get there.
We're usually done by 11, depending on how much stuff we have. Sometimes, like my wife just said, there's a lot of us. So like people that are putting us on the committee and myself, we don't drink till after the event's over, and we might be there till 7 in the morning.
Oh yeah, we've been down that road.
Around 11 o'clock, roughly around 11.
So Gene, he says, I stopped by your shop. I like to try local market foods.
So Gene Cox stopped over there. He stopped in. Absolutely.
Yep. There's been quite a few that have stopped. There was a guy that stopped in not very long ago and wanted some hot dogs, and I'm like, I don't have any. But here, try this instead. It's just as good, and so.
I used to do that when I was traveling too. I'd always stop at the butcher shops and try their sticks or their jerky or their sausage.
Right.
Did that, but I never went over to Montana.
A lot of friendship that way, and I've hauled meat all over the United States, and some of these guys, I'll wheel in and I'll have a couple beef in coolers, cut and wrapped, and I'll wheel in and I'll say, hey, can I throw these in your freezer for the night? And they'll go, hell yeah, but we got to go to the bar after. And I'm like, oh.
Twist my arm, right?
4 o'clock in the morning, you're falling into a motel bed, and got to be up in 4 hours.
You'll have that. You'll have that. So, all right. Well, I appreciate you coming on here. Again, guys, November 9th, 4 o'clock, doors open, Fallon County Fairgrounds. You don't want to miss this. And it's a great program, great cause, and they do help out a lot of organizations, it sounds like. So I appreciate you coming on, Jake.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And, you need to come to it. Once you come to it, then I believe you'll come again.
Imagine I'll walk out there with a lighter wallet when I'm done, huh?
I don't want 14 guns.
I know. I can't say no. I got to play them games. You know how that goes.
Yeah. If you don't know.
Clay, you should take a break really quick and we'll come back and finish this.
Oh, okay. I was going to finish the show, but that's okay.
No, we need to take a break.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll take a break. I'll let the pro take care of this. There you go. We'll take a quick break, everybody. We'll come back.
That's a war face. Now let me see your war face. You don't scare me.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a constant constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
All right. Did you get things taken care of, Scott?
Oh, things feel so much better right now. I don't know how long you guys can talk, but geez.
Probably a while.
I must be the older of us three because that was a long time. Good grief.
Well, what I was gonna mention here is tomorrow night, 701 Nation, Jamie. Well, I don't even remember doing it.
What was that?
I don't know. I must have touched something here. Live radio and live podcasting, right? So, all right. 701 Nation, Jamie's going to have on episode 22, comes on 8 o'clock p.m. He's not going to be broadcasting to YouTube. He's discontinuing his YouTube. So just everybody knows that. Go to everything else. Go to X, Rumble, our website, and all the other platforms we have. What is an established trail in North Dakota? That ought to be a good
God, you want to really? And he doesn't have me. I just had a meeting on this with the Forest Service yesterday in Amadon.
Well, there you go. Jamie, there you go. Get him on tomorrow. And then he's going to go into the new Savage Reveal lever action rimfire rifle. I've never heard of that one. So that's
Rebel.
What you mean. Henry introduces the new 10-shot 22 Golden Boy. Yeah, I've seen those. I'm kind of interested in.
As long as their firing pin holds up.
Yeah, they had trouble with their 357s, didn't they?
They had trouble with every firing pin on every Golden Boy and Silver Boy they ever made.
Really, I can't say I've ever had any trouble with mine. I've shot crap out of my Golden Boy, but
they've had troubles with them.
Just out Remington Ranch Hand 22 long range 38 grain. So. Yeah, and then he's going to have his happy ending of the week, and that's where we always feature a self-defense story where basically the Second Amendment saved the life of the guy using it. So that's what he's got coming up. Powered again by Lauer Auto Repair, Double H Gun Shop, Man and Sporting Goods, and littleangryarms.com. So that's what he's got in store tomorrow night, 8 o'clock.
Well, you know, the Forest Service is having those meetings all across western North Dakota. There's a lot of push for, like, South Dakota, Black Hills, of trails coming in for ATVs.
Really? They're doing that again, huh?
Huge thing. It's going to be detrimental to farmers and ranchers in the western side of the United States, and I hope people listening will vote against this or at least give their opinion against it because it's not good, okay? And Jamie's going to say, what is a 2-track or whatever, but you got to remember, Jamie,
really,
every county has their own laws, and the law starts at the county level, not the state level. You got to check your local county levels.
And with Forest,
and right now, Slope and Bowman County have a burn ban and a travel ban, and people are trying to drive around and go elk hunting and archery hunting and youth hunting this last week and everything, and you cannot do that. In certain counties, you got to be very careful of what you're doing and check with the Forest Service rules and your local county rules. So no matter what the state rules are, you still got to check your county because they're the one to make the rules to start out with.
Is the Forest Service actually pushing to open trails? That's surprising to me.
No. Okay. The Forest Service in western North Dakota is actually behind the farmers and ranchers trying to keep this out of the state. Because here's the reason why. We do not have enough large chunks of land to do this with. And a lot of people don't realize this is the Forest Service in the late 30s and early 40s, when USDA turned it over to the Forest Service, they did not get easements across private land. In some, I'd say most of the areas, there's some in the northern side, north of the Interstate 94, They do have easements in some areas. South of I-94, they have 0 easements. So they're trying to do this travel management plan, which started out in 2007, 2008. It got shut down by a lot of hunting groups because they just wanted to travel everywhere they wanted to, because if you see it on a map or Onyx or base map or whatever you want to do, if they see private land and a trail going there, they feel that they can go there. But if it crosses private land, it is state law. You have to have permission.
Right.
So what he's going to be, it's interesting what he's going to be talking about, because I'm going through that in our grazing association across all of Western North Dakota grazing associations, and in many central South Dakota, in the Grand River as well.
Oh, we got it up there at the Cedar River. And they've got signs up, well, they used to say wheeled motorized access only, and you had to stay to the established trail. But again,
I know, but here's the problem, Clay, is established trail, when somebody has a side-by-side and they want to go over the canyon and look over, after 2 or 3 trips, it's an established trail, which it is not. So
nobody's ever defined what is an established trail.
Okay, somebody says, can people walk? Yeah, absolutely. So the North Dakota rule, here's the problem with this whole thing.
Well, I know what Eric's getting at. Eric he's the kind of guy that walks everywhere.
Yeah, no, and I have no problem with people walking. I really don't. So if you want to stick on the section lines, not a problem. You got 30 feet, and not every section line in my area has a trail, okay?
Right.
It's rough country. There might not even be a fence. So you might need to really stick on that 30-foot thing. Where people get misconstrued on a lot of this is they're thinking of like section lines and everything that they're used to seeing. But in the Western North and South Dakota, things are a little bit different. And I've just play caution, contact the landowner, and just be courteous, and they'd be more than happy to help you out. I'm just saying there's a lot of different things with an established trail is different.
Right.
In state versus Forest Service versus county.
Yeah, and an established trail isn't necessarily public access, and yeah, they just got to keep that in mind.
But an established trail, you should go by township, because the law starts at township, then goes to county, and then goes to state.
And most people don't do that. And I run into this on the state line here. I found out because I was checking it out. So on the state line down here, that's where the sections start. Okay. Well, on the South Dakota side of that line, that's where the corrections take place.
Yep.
So, just so everybody knows this,
there's correction lines all over the state, everywhere you go, Clay.
Well, I'm just talking completely along the line, because people think that's public access on both sides of that state line. It is not, because it's not a section line. The entire state of South Dakota and North Dakota's border on the South Dakota side are mostly corrections, and they are not section lines, and
Correct.
You don't have the right to be on them. And oh my gosh, I mean, I've had some pretty good arguments with people down here.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, until you have to experience it, like I'm at the end of a section line where my road is, and it ends up in my yard. Yeah. It's just an issue we got to deal with, but. We're looking at a travel management plan, and I am excited that they're trying to work with this, and they're working with ranchers and landowners and farmers to try to which ones are accessible, which ones are not. And, you know, you got to remember too, some of these trails were on the maps from the 40s.
Yeah.
They're not there anymore, and some of them are eroded away. So you have to be careful on that too. And if you travel on a Forest Service trail, public land, or whatever you want to call it, and you get stuck, the landowners are really reluctant to help you out, because if we tear up any dirt, we're liable for that dirt from the Forest Service, because we got to pay for a NEPA study because we tore up dirt, and we have to go through the whole works. So you're on your own.
You've got it way worse out where you're at than say what I have, which are allotted pieces of.
Yeah, but we have a lot more erodible land out here.
We have a lot more erodible land, absolutely. And I've seen that Jamie put up there. He says the state has a definition of established trail. That's what I go by. He said, I'll give you a call tomorrow, Scott. So there you go.
That's fine.
Good discussion.
But an established trail it depends on who says it is an established trail.
Right.
Because some of these maps are from the 40s, and none of them are accurate anymore.
No. They've either been closed, they've eroded away, they've been blocked, they've been taken out. I mean, yeah, it's been a long time since the 40s. And you're right. I've seen some of those maps. I've had these discussions too. And an established trail, I hate that every time. And when I go up to the North Dakota legislature when we're working on other bills, I always ask them, can you define that for me? And none of them can define it definitively. So, yeah, it causes issues.
But there's also established trails to the middle of Mandan, Bismarck, Mobridge. If you go back to established trails back in the old maps, I guess we can just drive right through there too, right?
Well, I say we treat their property like ours. If there's no sign in their yard, should just go ahead and just.
Well, I got this. Now you're getting me going. You want to get me going? Here we go, Clay. So I was told that because it's different in towns because they have an ordinance.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's easy enough. Let's go to our county commissioners and make an ordinance. You can't cross any. Oh, no, you can't do that.
Oh.
Well, yeah, we can. We can go to our county and do it. But did my county commissioner stand up to it? No, they didn't, because they think the law starts at the state level.
And that's a problem everywhere, Scott. And that's how we
but while they're making laws at the county level.
I know. Yeah, if it starts at the state, why have a county commission? Right? Don't need them. Just use whatever the state says. And that's where we're at. That's the problem. And then we could go down this all night, that rabbit hole about succession and where does it start, where does it end, and who enforces. We don't all have.
Like Jamie texted me, he says, there's a century code on this. That's the state century code. The law starts at the township and county level.
Yeah, I got it sent.
It's different.
Yeah, it starts at, like I said, township and county, and then it moves up from
exactly.
There. Absolutely, that's the idea of it. Checks and balances is what it's supposed to.
Yeah, and once you allow the state or anybody higher than you to start making those laws, then you're bowing down to what they're going to do.
Absolutely.
And I don't agree with most of our state legislators at this point in my life. I don't even agree with my county legislators.
I only got 3 in Sioux County, and trust me, they're no.
I only got 3, but I'll go to fight with them every day of my life. I'll go talk to them.
I got to get ours to show up to a meeting first. Don't even get me started on that on Sioux County. But yeah. So Dead Wolf Resistance 13. So how y'all doing tonight? He said French and time. That is where we are at. Okay. Doesn't he listen to your show once in a while?
Absolutely he does.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought I saw that on there before. Yeah. So thanks for joining us and tuning in. So, by the way, before
I got one more thing. I'm going to grind my gears here, Clay, because I can't say this on my show. Okay? I can't say it on my show.
Go for it.
So we've had, within 8 days, about 16 black bear sightings.
Up in your area?
Within 100 miles of my ranch.
Wow.
And everybody's saying, oh, it's a bear passing through. No, not within 8 days, within 100 miles. I'm sorry. Not going to happen. A friend of mine videoed a bear being released down by Buffalo, South Dakota. Shot him. Called their local game and fish and said, come pick up your bear that I just saw you drop off. Now he's in trouble.
Oh, man.
I'm having trouble with my cattle. I have game cameras. I just updated to this little fancy thing. Cell cameras that send me live videos of black bears chasing my cattle through fence.
Oh, wow.
And now have taken 2 of my cows. And they say, oh, black bears don't do that. They don't go after meat. I have it on video. I have had, and Jake Wagner, you back me up on this. Montana, in the Yellowstone country out there, they're taking the problem bears and they're bringing them out over to the eastern side of Montana, western side of North Dakota, because there's people paying for this stuff.
Yep.
All right,
What?
they're paying for it. Now, I heard of a problem grizzly bear that was taking so many ranchers' calves in the western side of Montana has now been released in south of Ekalaka. I've heard of all these black bears that are being trouble bears being released in eastern Montana, western North Dakota, and South Dakota. And it's not by, I'm not saying it's Game and Fish, but I am saying it's from organizations that maybe work with local organizations that might say, let's try this.
When I watched him do it, it was the Game and Fish that did it.
Wow.
And that was in the Montana side, right?
Yes.
So we got to be specific because I have not seen any of this happen, but I have seen videos, but they were unmarked vehicles doing this.
And
this is what's happening, Clay, and it's coming your way, man. And
Well,
I'm short 2 cows, and they say, "Oh, they're not going to do that."
Scott, this is the same crap they said about mountain lions when they started showing up around here and down.
And wolves.
And wolves. And, oh, they don't do that. And then all the videos started popping up showing them doing these things. And I bet you money them bears are chipped, too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Here's
the thing. You know, I see this guy. He says, call the local sheriff. Here's the thing about our local sheriff. He says, well, that's a hunting issue. I'm going to call the Game and Fish. They're not going to deal in
it.
Well,
you only can get.
They're getting money from it.
If you got like Lee up there in Corey Lee in Stark County, I bet you he would back you up. But you're not in Stark County because he's one of the good ones. But most of our sheriffs are pussies. I don't care if they get pissed at me or not, because they are. They just do what they're told. They take money from the feds and the state and wherever they can get it, and they don't care. They just enforce what's wrong to begin with. And that is the problem. Our sheriffs are supposed to be that last line of defense between you and government. And I don't care what entity it is. And they're not. They
Here's
are
the
ones
entity.
to take care of this.
The entity is you're messing with my cattle. I'm tired of it, and I'm losing money because of it. And nobody cares if a rancher or a farmer loses money anymore.
Doesn't seem like it anymore, no. I mean, we've even had mountain lions here. Not that that's an issue. At least we can hunt them. But
yeah, you're on the other side of 80. You're on the point where it's free for all.
Yeah, I mean, I am. They run that Cedar River bottom ground up here. Not a lot of them, but they are up there. I've had people tell me they're not, even though I can prove that they're there. But so far,
I like the naysayers. I love the naysayers. That's like, oh no, they're not here. And then you show them that one's taken. They're like, oh, okay.
Oh, right, there's one. There's a track. I got pictures of tracks going along that river bottom.
Yeah.
Because I like to go up there, and I got permission to go up there and hunt. And I can tell you this: there's still deer up there, but they're diminishing. I'm sure it's because there's more lions up there.
I'm telling you right now, there's organizations that spend a lot of money that give money to states to allow the dropping off, and they're doing it on private property, public property, wherever they are. And the money talks, and agriculture is something in the past anymore, and that's sad.
You know, give me an idea. Jamie and I are going to be on the morning show on Friday on KFYR at 9:00 Mountain Time. Maybe we'll have to bring up this bear issue because I bet you nobody knows about it.
And nobody's going to talk about it. And I guarantee you're going to see, I have videos, and they're going to be like, oh, they're just passing through. Well, we have videos of you dropping them off, so I don't think so.
I got bullets that just passed through. Is that like I said, the problem is I bet they're chipped. That's the problem. Then you got to dispose of them somewhere else. Yeah, that ain't like the old days where you just.
Here's the thing: I'm not going to dispose of them. I'm not going to do that. I'm just saying I want people to own up to what they're doing. Around our area. I just want own up to it. Don't sit and try to be hiding this stuff. And don't try to act like you don't know about it. Just own up to it and say, this is what we're going to do. But the problem is they're bringing problem bears to our area because they're problems in some other urban area. Maybe they're in somebody's dumpster in a big city of Bozeman or Billings. They're capturing them. They're bringing them out here.
One of the reasons they're
just admit it. Just admit it.
Doing that, though, I believe, is so they know they know we won't put up with them.
Yeah.
And they're going to get shot.
I don't think so, Jake. I think they chip them and they want to trap us so they can turn more of our land into the Prairie Reserve.
We killed a couple here north of town just not in the last month.
I know you did.
And I mean, they didn't get in trouble for it. I mean, they were in their yards, they were, fighting the dogs, eating chickens, whatever, and they shot them.
I know, but Montana's way different than North Dakota, and you're not Scott Bachmeier where they want to try to kill you. Jake, you got to answer the question there, Clay.
We got a question come in. It says, "Hey, Jake, do you charge people more that bring in their deer meat in full deer hair? I'd probably charge another $50 for that shit." So
would you like them skinned or not?
Do you want them skinned or do you even take them?
I like them whole with the hide on, as quickly as you can get them to me. There are people that bring them in garbage bags, whatever, like Scott. And I look at it, and I've gotten some horrific shit in throughout the years, and I'm, just some of it I refuse. I won't take it. Some of it, if you want me to do it, I'm going to charge you so much you're never going to come back. Years and years ago when I was working, and we didn't process deer, but if you brought it in boned out, we'd make sausage, whatever. And this guy asked my boss if he'd make a summer sausage for him, and he goes, "Yeah, we you got it all boned out." "Oh, yep, it's all ready for the grinder, ready to go." So I was making sausage that night. We did it after hours. I was making sausage that night. Boss told me to turn it all into summer sausage. I opened the garbage bags up, and there's hair, there's bloodshot, there's branches, there's grass, all kinds of shit in there. And so I go over to the boss was at the bar, and I go over to the bar and I say, "This stuff it's nasty. I mean, it's just told him everything that was in there." And he goes, "You know what?" He goes, "Save it till the end, and run it through the grinder."
No.
Wow.
And I, okay, and I do the same thing myself. What you bring me is what you get back. I mean, you get your own meat back. And so I ran her through the grinder. I made the sausage, and a guy come and picked it up, and he come back in the store a month or 2 months later and said, "That's the best goddamn summer sausage I've ever ate in my life." And I'm over there going, "You ain't never had good sausage in."
Wow. Yeah.
So, Jake, you can't give me a hard time bringing my meat into a garbage bag, because when I take mine, I cube it up and I bring it in and I take care of it. And
I was using it for an example. I mean,
but everybody's looking at me like I'm the garbage bag guy. Come on. I take care of my meat really quick.
Everybody does it different. I was gone moose hunting, and my guy had a bull-killed elk. He got a hold of my daughter, and it was all skinned and in coolers, and he dropped it off. She put it in the walk-in cooler. I come back from moose hunting, and I go to whack this elk up. It takes me an hour, depending on what they want, to cut an elk out. I open the coolers up, and the only thing I can think of is wherever they shot this elk, they took him apart right there, skinned him the whole 9 yards, and then they tied ropes to the legs, I think, and drug him behind him, and they went through a. And that elk was covered in pine needles and soot, rocks, and it took me all day to do a raghorn bull. And I, chewed my kid's ass out. I said, when people bring stuff in here, you've got to look at it. Because I just wasted all damn day. And I think back in those days, I think I was charging like $200, $250 for an elk. I just wasted my whole day on one elk.
Wow. That's horrible.
So that's one of the things, you bring it to me, I look at it, and if it's frozen, I just tell you, if it's nasty, it's going to cost you.
Yep.
If you're wasting my time.
I'll tell you what, I don't want to cut you off here, Jake, but our live stream, it's going to auto quit us in here in about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, even less now. So.
It was good talking to you guys, and we'll do it again some other day.
All right, thanks, Jake. Appreciate you, buddy.
I'd love to have you come on again sometime. Thanks, Jake.
You bet.
All right. Well, with that, guys, again, don't forget to tune in Friday morning, 9 o'clock a.m. in the morning in the mountain time. on KFYR. We're going to be on there in Dakota mornings. And, of course, we got Scott. He'll be on Saturday morning. Don't want to miss his show, Dakota Prairie Outdoors. And
Levi Nelson is going to come on and tell me about his elk hunt in Montana.
Awesome. So Levi Nelson, elk hunting, going to be a great show. And, of course, Jamie tomorrow night, 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time on all our platforms of 701 Nation. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We had good numbers tonight. And we'll see everybody here next week, Wednesday, at the same